My Hero Wants Justice was a game that never really caught my attention back in the days. I was always a Naruto Storm fan, but over the past couple of years I've decided to check out what's all the fuss about My Hero games. And I gotta say, I wish I played Wants Justice back in the day, so naturally with the announcement of My Hero All's Justice, I am hyped. That being said, anime games tend to miss core features, and if we are lucky, maybe the developers patch them post-release, but at that point it's already too late. You cannot re-release the same game twice, so I have decided to give the developers a list of what I think My Hero All's Justice needs, and also a couple more that's not exactly mandatory, but I feel like this game could have. Starting off with the most obvious feature, friend invites. I know that many of you are raising your eyebrows that I'm even mentioning this, but it's not unusual for Bandai Namco to not add friend invites to their games. Naruto Storm Connection got released without friend invites, and even right now, Bleach Rebirth of Souls have no way to invite your friends. It does have a feature where you have to input a code to join private lobbies, but again, there's no way to invite your friends at all. And if that sounded ridiculous, then get this. A rematch button. I swear I'm not making shit up. Jump Force back in the days released without a rematch button. If you've played someone, you had to leave the lobby and fight him again. And boy, it was hard to find someone. The loading screens in that game were terrible. They were way too long. The next feature I want in the game day one will be aimed at building a community, and that is online lobbies. And to be more specific, I'm looking for group matches and the tournament mode. If you didn't know, group matches are basically a lobby where multiple people can join and play with each other. It's a great way to get matched up with a big variety of players, and tournament mode is what you'd think a tournament mode. People join, then get drafted into a bracket and play with each other to see who becomes the champion. And since I've mentioned the ability of seeing, this ties to my previous point, spectator mode. Naruto Storm Connections, Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash, Bleach Rebirth of Souls, all of these games lacked spectator mode on release, and to be more specific, only Storm has spectator mode right now because it was patched. The other two games still has no way to watch each other. Now I know what you're thinking, you want me to hop into a Discord call and stream my games, or to start up a Twitch stream and that solves the problem, right? Wrong! If you've been around for as long as I have, then you know the feeling when you get together with your friends and watch each other fight. There are times when someone is just straight up bad, and as friendly banter you guys wanna say some jokes, tell something funny about how he messed up, but then there are moments when one of your friend is a god gamer, he pulled off an impossible combo in an impossible situation, and all of you are just having an orgasm over what he has done. This is why we need spectator mode. Obviously, I would love to have this feature to make it easier to host tournaments, but that's not the main reason. I don't think the main focus of developers should be to please content creators when it comes to adding features to get positive reaction in their videos. No, you guys know me. If a game is good and it deserves recognition, I will say it is good. But if a game is bad, then I will also say it's bad. Last obvious mandatory feature the game should have day one, and that is a fully functioning story mode. From what I have gathered, My Hero Wants Justice had trailers that kept showing cinematics from the story mode, which on paper sounds like the game has a great story mode, but dude, I bought the game last week and I have finished the story mode in about 2 hours. There were less than 30 minutes of cutscenes. Everything else was just a slideshow. The first trailer of All's Justice do seem to feature cutscenes in story modes, but I'm still not convinced that we are not getting baited into buying a game that has no story mode. And before you guys even think about commenting this, not every development team has to be CC2 in order to give us a story mode. I hate it when players try to justify the slideshows with the fact that CC2 is about the only dev team that added cutscenes to anime games. That is just not true. If Viking can put these cutscenes into the game, then they can as well put more of these. And you know what? Let's look at the hidden ones. That game just recently had its Chinese beta test, but even in its pre-alpha version, they had more cutscenes and more interactive gameplay than any of the anime games I've mentioned in this video combined. Speaking of interactions, I want the story mode to be more than just a versus battle against the CPU. When Deku had to fight against Giant Overhaul, that was something I wanted more of in the game. I see no reason to fight against the normal version of Overhaul like 4 times, I believe that's how many times I had to beat his ass before I finally got his giant form. We are in the war arc of the anime. It is not impossible to imagine us being as gentle criminal fighting off against escaping prisoners, or as Deku flying around in the city beating up multiple villains. It would be such a cool idea to actually fight against multiple characters, especially since this could tie into my next point of what this game needs, and that is fun game modes. As I have said, I want a horde mode in the game. Let me fight against multiple villains at the same time, and if Viking can figure out how to add this, then how about a 2v2 online game mode? In this game mode, I would only allow the players to use one character, remove the switching mechanic, it's going to be chaotic anyways. If we get a lock-on system where we can switch between the two enemy players, then that's good enough for me. Just make sure you don't balance the game around the 2v2 system, it's meant to be chaotic, not perfectly balanced. And you know what? When I saw that you can play with 3 characters, I thought it would be so much fun if each character was a different player. Let's say you get put into a 1v1 match, you're doing a combo, then when you switch out to Todoroki, that is when a different player has to play. He gets the control, he is dealing damage. But if this is too hard, then copy what the hidden ones did, give each character a different health bar, remove switching, and have everyone fight on his selected character when it's their turn to play. That's gonna be it about online features. Let's talk about the offline. Give My Hero All's Justice a boss challenge mode. Before My Hero Ultra Rumble got released, Viking has said that they could never figure out how to add Mount Lady or Ryukyu into the game because they are basically giant characters. How about a game mode where you have to fight against a giant Mount Lady, a giant Shigaraki? Give them a couple of mechanics that the player has to pay attention to, so it prevents us from just smashing the attack button over and over, and there you have it, a giant boss fight. Since we are in the war arc of My Hero Academia, we will be on a bunch of different locations, so I would like Viking to also add a way for us to explore the city. And the reason why is because they could hide cosmetics all over the game. We finish certain parts of the story mode, that chunk of the city gets unlocked, so we can go around and have fun. And you know what? Have a couple of villains jump us randomly. That way this feature won't be useless after we have found every cosmetic that's in the game. The potential of this game mode is endless, and I'm sure it's possible because we have left the previous generation behind. No more PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, only next gen consoles. Those were the main ideas that I would love to see in My Hero All's Justice, but I got 2 more honorable mentions that I think Viking should consider adding to the game, and the first one is a new tutorial. The tutorial they got in One's Justice 2, in my opinion, for beginner players is just too overwhelming. I did eventually figure out what I'm doing, but it was just too much to remember. The second honorable mention, however, is just to playtest your game, and I mean this with respect. I do not wish to sound like I know better at how to make anime games, but the recent anime games that got launched had issues that are just impossible to miss if you have playtested your game. As a couple of examples, Bleach Rebirth of Souls launched with a PC port that was completely unplayable for about 3 months. Naruto Storm Connections had armor jutsus that kept going through stuff they shouldn't have. Things like this basically. That's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like Viking to add into My Hero All's Justice. Who knows? Maybe they will see this video and say these were all good points, and they might even see what you're asking for. Smash that like button to signal boost this video into the YouTube algorithm, and if you haven't seen an anime game with 2v2 battles, then go ahead and check out this Hit Them Once video. Hope you guys gonna have a fantastic day, stay safe, and until next time, boys. Peace!